The shut has finally hit the fan. Guys, I got you covered if you missed it. I'm going to let you know what all happened, why Britney had a panic attack at the VMAs when she ran into Justin, and also what drugs was she on during her career. So if you're new here, please do me a huge favor. Please make sure you like. Please make sure you subscribe. And if your notification bell is not on, make sure you turn it on so you never miss it when I drop a video. Because I can guarantee I'm going to share all the juicy details that went down in this book. Do you think she wrote this book? And I feel like she finally, she did, because Britney has been muted 13 years. Not only that, Britney is a fire sign. Fire signs are, she's a Sagittarius. Fire signs are naturally passionate people. There's no way you can be muted for 13 years and you finally have the courage to speak up. Your conservatorship is finally over and you're not going to say how you truly feel. I listened to the book, okay? I listened, and what made listening to the book so crazy is that Britney read an introduction, but the narrator she chose, Michelle Williams, who is actually an actress, read this book. And she impersonated Britney to the point where it made you believe that, I'm like, is this Michelle? Is this Britney? Because her voice sounds so similar to Britney's. But we're going to get into this book, guys. Let's talk about Britney having an abortion by Justin, because we all know this surfaced days before the book came out. And she did confirm it in the book. She says when she was around 18 or 19, she had an abortion. And which made it so crazy is that she was sure she wanted to be a mom, and Justin was just so sure that he didn't want to be a dad. You know, I was a huge Britney Spears fan back then. That's the thing. A lot of people talking about this don't remember this relationship. They were like the it couple. When I heard this a couple days ahead of time, I don't know. I couldn't describe it. Like, it just could not believe that, that she had an abortion by him, because, they were the it couple. But she did confirm it. She said that she was so famous back then that she couldn't even go to a clinic, but she made it seem as though she took a plan B. But they broke up due to the fact that Britney kissed Wade Robson, which was a famous choreographer back then. And she had also confirmed that Justin had cheated on her several times, and she knew that he cheated on her, but she stayed with him due to the fact that she loved him so much. Britney came back in 2007, all right? She came back in 2007 at the VMAs when she performed Give Me More. Now, she claims that she had a panic attack on this night because it seemed as though she couldn't get her hair extensions right. She said she didn't sleep the night before, and there was so much criticism because, she had gained a little weight. She didn't have the famous six-pack abs. So when she went to perform, she wasn't together. But yet she saw Justin, and it seemed like he had everything together because he was at the height of his solo NSYNC career. So she said that she had a panic attack. After she performed, she ran backstage and cried because it was like she was embarrassed. Her dad had forced her to take lithium, which what really blows my mind is that Britney says the day that her father is her conservator, you got to keep in mind that everybody made it seem like she was mentally unstable, right? Everybody made it seem like she was mentally unstable, but she says that during this, she had a bowl, and in this bowl she has all of her receipts from for tax audits, so she can claim her taxes, right? So she can get a tax reduction. That's not something somebody with a mental illness would do, right? So she does this every year. She says the moment her father is in control of the conservatorship, he comes in her office and he slides the receipt bowl away and looks at her and says, I'm Britney Spears now. That's crazy to me, but really, I can't comprehend is that Britney talks about in the book how her father wound up profiting $1 million from her conservatorship alone. He had never been a millionaire, and she talks about how he only took Adderall. That was the only thing she took because, I don't know if you know the effects of Adderall, it makes people concentrate, it makes people put everything in order. So that was the only thing she says that she was on. She was like, a lot of people may not believe it until, you know, further on when she was on lithium from her father. She was not allowed to have a cell phone. Or someone would smuggle her in a cell phone, and whenever her dad would find out, she would have to go to rehab. She says that she dated Easton Alexander, I believe is his name. He was super like into fitness, and her dad forced her to work out. This is during the Las Vegas shows. So she started taking, she says workout supplements. I don't know if it was more like pre-workout, but whenever her dad found out that she was taking these things, he would have forced her to go to rehab. So Britney also talks throughout the whole book, honestly, that what made her stay in the conservatorship is that if she felt like she was, this reminds me of like a child. It's so crazy. Like she wanted to be good. Meaning that if she felt like if she had a good behavior, she would be rewarded with her children. Because obviously the situation with Kevin Federline, he like took the kids. He just used her from the jump, bruh. He just used her from the jump. But she felt like she abided by all of these rules. At the end of the day, she would get custody of her kids back, which it never happened. But briefly, just to talk about Kevin Federline, what happened with that. It says in the book that she wanted him to find his way. She wanted him to find who he truly was. And because everybody didn't like him from the jump, so that made him want to be a rapper. I guess he had some kind of talent rapping. But the more and more like she pursued him to go record, he would act, every time she would meet up with him when he would record for his album, he acted more and more shady towards her. So ultimately he got to the point where when she did start going out, you know, it was headline news. She started hanging out with Lindsay Lohan. She started hanging out with Paris Hilton. She would just go out and drink alcohol. Or they portrayed it to seem as though she was doing some drugs. And that's when everybody took advantage of her. That's when her mom, her dad, that's where Kevin, all took advantage of her. And ultimately he got custody of the kids. She says up to this point her kids still don't even speak to her, and I think it's over the whole influence of Kevin. She talks about Jamie Lynn Spears. She says that the whole time she was basically like a stuck-up brat. She never really appreciated anything that Britney did for her. I don't know if you guys are familiar with, but she did come out with a book. I have not checked that book out, but I'll check it out soon. But not only that, what's so crazy about this whole conservatorship is that Britney talks, what really gets me going, what really like blows my mind is that Britney says the day that her father is her conservator, you got to keep in mind that Britney's dad, everybody made it seem like she was mentally unstable, right? Everybody made it seem like she was mentally unstable, but she says that during this, every year she had an office and she had a bowl, and in this bowl she has all of her receipts from for tax audits, so she can claim her taxes, right? So she can get a tax reduction on her taxes, which that's not something somebody with a mental illness would do, right? So she does this every year. She says the moment her father is in control of the conservatorship, he comes in her office and he slides the receipt bowl away and looks at her and says, "I'm Britney Spears now. I'm Britney Spears." And she didn't really say too much about her brother Brian, but she did speak that her mom, she would call her mom. Her mom would say, "I'm sorry, I'm out shopping, I'm gonna call you back." She never called her back. How Jamie Lynn obviously was just a spoiled brat. Britney like funded everything for her. Her dad became a millionaire. How she wound up paying Kevin child support. How Justin like threw her underneath the bus, and his whole career is based off of throwing her underneath the bus. Like, what really is crazy also about the whole situation with Justin, I don't know if you guys have heard, but he disabled his comments on Instagram so no one can comment on any of his photos. But his whole career is based off of throwing Britney under the bus, and Britney like kept this secret for 20 years, right? which is a long time to keep a secret, but he's putting emphasis on, you know, the past is in the past and we should move towards the future. But why is it like when people do you wrong like that, they make it seem as though they didn't and quit, and you should stop focusing on the past? Like, this just changed my whole image, you know, about Justin Timberlake. I know you have to sometimes separate the artist from the music, but this realistically like makes me about him. You know what I'm saying? Like, it just, like, what do you mean you threw her underneath the bus? But guys, what do you think about this? Does this make you interested in reading the book or listening to the book? Let me know in the comment section below. Don't forget, I love you guys, I miss you guys, and I can't wait to see you soon.